Bring to us your poetry from inspiration sought. Come join us with your images, your verses, words, and thought. From here, we'll share your balladry with those who do not know it. This platform's here for you to show the world that you're the poet.
Welcome to episode 29 of You're the Poet, the poetry podcast featuring you. I'm host Matt Burgio, and I'm here with co-host Phil Burgio. Phil, welcome.
Thank you.
Here at You're the Poet, our purpose is to share our love of poetry with the world and invite you to do the same. I want to start by saying thank you to all of our listeners who have made You're the Poet possible. We hope you enjoyed the podcast and the poetry that is shared here. Our featured guest for this episode of You're the Poet is Jodi Harsh, who is joining us from Ohio. Jodi, welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm so happy to be here tonight.
Thank you. We're glad you can join us, and we look forward to your contribution to the episode. To start things off, I'm going to turn it over to Phil to share a classic poem for the episode. Phil?
Yeah, this poem is by Robert Louis Stevenson. Everybody thinks of him as Treasure Island, but he wrote a lot of poems, and he wrote a book of poems for children, Children Garden of Verses. This poem is called Bed in Summer. In winter, I get up at night and dress by yellow candlelight. And summer quite the other way. I have to go to bed by day. I have to go to bed and see the birds still hopping on the tree, or hear the grown-up people's feet still going past me in the street. And does it not seem hard to you when all the sky is clear and blue, and I should like so much to play, to have to go to bed by day? Robert Louis Stevenson.
I tell you what, I know this is written in a child's verse of poetry, but I really relate to this poem. And I think it's because I'm a night owl. I couldn't live in a world where I had to go to bed while the sun was still up. Even working nights, I try to get to bed before the sun starts coming up, because once it's up, it's hard to go to bed. We joke around with our shifts at work that there's a shift that starts at 2 o'clock in the morning. And I was like, well, if I worked that shift, I would have to be going to bed at like 6 p.m. or earlier. And I'm like, there's no way. This poem kind of hit me in that respect. So I kind of enjoyed this one.
I actually sleep better during the daytime. I'm a night owl. I always have been. When it gets dark earlier, when it says in the winter, I get up at night, I sleep better during the daytime. So when it gets dark early, I do better when it's dark.
I'm a night owl. I don't get to bed till like 12 or 1 o'clock, but I've been retired for 20 years. And before I retired, I worked the late shift. Still can't get it out of my system.
Yeah, I do. I do most of my sleeping during the day. I get home around 5 in the morning, but I got to be asleep before that sun comes up. I hate going to bed in the evening when it's still late. But yeah, everybody's different. That's what makes the world go round. That's what I love about it. All right, from here, we're going to turn to my poem for the episode. This poem, some aspects of it to me seem a little out of season because I think I wrote it in the spring. This poem is about bird watching. Something I've always loved to do, a little bit different than birding as we call it, where you're going out and looking for different birds. But the concept of bird watching, just filling the feeders and watching the birds eat. So this is a poem I sat down and wrote when I was working on alliteration at the time. I wanted to write a poem that had alliteration in it. I wanted to experiment with that. I was watching birds at the time, and this is what I came up with.
Explain alliteration.
Oh, alliteration is using word sounds that kind of sound the same. If you're using a lot of F's, and you'll hear it in the poem, where you're using like the same letters or sounds to start words or within the words. A lot of alliteration.
Okay, so like cornfield cause, things like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Or a fair-sized flock of feathery
Very
friends.
good.
Yeah. So anyway, this is my poem, Backyard Bird Watching. A fair-sized flock of feathery friends fly from feeder to feeder. The grackle grabs the growing grass, the cardinal cracks the corn. The robin rummages for worms, and the tufted titmouse tweet to tell of their birdwatching intruder. The nuthatch nabs the new-laid nuts, the blue jay joins the junco, the crow across the cornfield caws to the hawk who hunts the hare. The sparrow seeks the simple seeds, the finches flirt for fun. The red-winged blackbird basks by the bath, while the woodpecker works at the willow. The starlings swarm the sweet soiree, the wren watches while it waits. The chickadee chits and chides and chirps, the mourning dove doth drone. But soon the scene I sit to sketch is quickly cleared away, for how fast they flee and fly away when a feline foils their fun. Matthew Burgio.
I like that.
Yeah. When you explain alliteration, and I was reading the poem, watching it, it's like, yeah, okay, I can see that.
I didn't know what alliteration was.
Yeah, me either. That's why I asked. I got to do this now. I got to try something like this.
Me too.
Yeah, like along with the rhythm and the rhymes, if you're doing another aspect of poetry, if you get the alliteration going, I think it kind of helps with the flow and the, just kind of another aspect of the poetry.
it gives you a rhythm that you kind of bob with the poem. I
Yeah, that's one of the things I like about it.
really like.
Thank you. And I love the bird watching. But I say out of season because I kind of mix the birds. Like there's some spring birds in there, there's some winter birds in there. But yeah. All right, well, from here, we're going to turn it back over to Phil to share his poem for the episode. Phil?
Okay, this poem is called Opera. I went to see an opera actually at the Regal Cinema, but it was a broadcast of the New York Metropolitan Opera. I like opera, and it's just the poem will explain it. Opera, the magnificent pageantry that brings all the creativity, all the artistry and spectacle, with music with its song and symphony that bring forth sweet feelings from tears to laughter, all emotional moods, burst from one's senses and heart. Bright and impressive colors of prop and scenery and glorious fashions shimmering in the bright lights. The acting tells stories of heroes and lovers, princes and paupers, lyrics to evoke images of places and deeds, all this creativity, a plethora of sensory poetry. Philip Burgio.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I haven't seen too many operas. I think the only one I've actually seen on a professional level, I saw like you did. I saw it in the Regal.
Yeah.
But yes, a lot of pageantry, a lot of colors, a lot of sort of like a huge, extravagant event, if you will.
I've never seen an opera, but I like the way he explains in the poem what all is at an opera.
It's worth to go just to watch the scenery and everything.
The shimmering and the bright lights and the heroes and lovers, and it makes you really think about what's there and what all is at the opera.
Oh yeah, very romanticized, very, like I said, all out. It's
Yeah.
kind of taking theater to the extreme level. Like if you're familiar with musical theater, it's similar to that, except they sing just about everything. Everything is, even the spoken word is recitative, but still has a musical quality to it. So instead of just song numbers, it's sort of like the whole thing is sung. And then, of course, the costumes and the scenery and the glimmer, like it's a lot of that.
And if you're looking at the Met is like the top. I mean, I've never been to Italy, but I'll take the Met any day.
Nice. Good job in capturing all of that there. All right, from here we want to move to our guest section of the episode. Jodi, you're the poet. Show us what you've got.
Okay. First one is called For My Momma. She passed away 17 years ago. So on the anniversary of her passing, I wrote her a poem. 17 years. Yet it feels like yesterday since you were here just a call away. Your laughter still echoes deep in my mind. A melody of love, warm and kind. I miss your voice, your steady advice, the way you'd see through every disguise. How you'd roll your eyes when I played the fool, yet loved me fiercely with unshaken rule. You were joy, you were light, a beacon so bright, a heart so big, it turned dark into white. 800 souls stood in silent grace, proof of the love you left in your place. But it's me, Mama, who aches the most, longing for you like a wandering ghost. For the way you just were, the way you knew, the way the world felt safer with you. I'd give anything for one more call, one more joke, one more, that's not all. But I know you're near, I feel it inside, in every sunset and the shifting tide. 17 years and still every day, I carry your love in my own way. So I'll laugh a little louder, love a little more, and honor the joy that you stood for. I miss you, Mama, my heart, my guide, but I know your spirit walks by my side. By Jodi Harsh.
All right, thank you for sharing.
Somebody's cutting onions here.
Yeah, very heartfelt there. It's hard to keep my composure. A lot of this hit home for me. When you sent this to me, it was not hard to read, but it almost brought a tear to my eye just reading it on the email. I lost my mother in April of 22, lost her battle to pancreatic cancer.
Oh.
I was very close to my mom, and this poem could have been written for my mom. All the descriptions you say and the phone call away. She was
Yeah.
one that we loved to talk to on the phone. Yeah, just a lot of it. I miss my mom, and this poem really hit home. I think you did a great job of capturing a child's love for their mother here.
Great poem, Jodi. Great poem.
Thank you. She was my best friend. When I was younger, of course, we butted heads, but as you grow into that adult age, she did become my best friend. And I talked to her every day on the phone because we didn't live close. Yeah, I miss her dearly.
I feel you. I was fortunate to be around, living with my parents at the time when she passed, so I had gotten, a lot closer to her. But she had suffered a stroke from a brain tumor removal about 7 years before she died. That gave her aphasia and kind of damaged her speech. Like she had a hard time communicating speech wise after that, which was a bummer because she was someone that loved to talk. And yeah, it hurt me too because she was someone that I always confided in. I was blessed with the fact that I could share anything with my mom. Even things some people deem inappropriate, or like, you're talking to your mom about that? But like you said, almost like the best friend thing. She was my confidant that I could talk to about anything, and I knew she wouldn't judge me. So this one hit home. Very well done.
That's how Mama was with me too. I mean, I tormented her a lot. People would be like, "That was our relationship," and she knew if I wasn't teasing her, she'd be like, "Okay, what's going on with you? What's wrong?"
Right.
We just had a very close relationship. She could call me, or I could call her. And I could hear it in her voice. She could just say hello, and I'd be like, "Okay, what's wrong? You got a headache? What's bothering you?" It was just that's how close we were.
That's awesome.
Okay, Jody, got another one for us?
Yes. It's called The Filter I Have. I've got a filter. It's there, I swear. But sometimes it's faulty or just don't care. It tries to catch words to soften the blow, but truth has a way of slipping through, though. I don't mean to hurt. It's never the goal. I just speak from the heart, straight from my soul. No games, no mess, no carefully spun lie. Just honestly laid bare, no need to ask why. My filter tries hard. It gives it a shot, but bluntness wins out more often than not. The truth comes out sharp, unpolished, unplanned. It's just who I am, you must understand. Some people can't take it, they shy away, but I can't change how I'm wired today. If you ask my thoughts, I'll tell you what's true. Don't expect me to twist it to suit you. I walk a fine line, filter in tow, but sometimes it fails, and I let it all go. I'm blunt and I'm honest, no harm meant at all. But when the truth speaks, I answer its call. So take me as I am, filter and flaws. I'll always be real without a pause. It's not always easy, but it's who I must be. Blunt and honest, unapologetically me. By Jodi Harsh.
I like that. That's good. That's good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that. Great change of pace there. After the first one, hitting home, this one, it was nice to kind of just make me chuckle. The whole concept of that dragging around that filter and
Well, sometimes things come out of my mouth that people are like, "What?" And I'm like, "Yeah, my filter's not working today. Sorry."
Good one, Jody. I like that.
That's just who I am.
yeah, I really liked that. Really good concept there. There's a lot of good lines in there. I even like that whole last stanza though. So take me as I am, filter and flaws. I'll always be real without a pause. It's not always easy, but it's who I must be. Blunt and honest, unapologetically me. I think it's a great way to just sum that up. That was a fun poem. Thank you.
Thank you.
Would you want to read another one?
Yeah.
I was going to ask before we read the final one, did you have anything you'd like to promote? Whether it's your Facebook page or anything like that, anything you've got going on in the poetry world?
Yeah. Well, I have my Facebook page. It's called Harsh Words Poetry from the Souls of Life. And I have quite a few poems out there that I'm sharing. And I do have a website that's being made. It's called Harsh Words. Hopefully that'll be done by the end of this week. I'm hoping to get that up and running, and that way people who aren't on Facebook can enjoy my poetry as well, and it can get out to more people. That's what I'm hoping for, and I'm hoping to also get a book done with some poetry in it.
Awesome. Yeah, when you get the website up and running, definitely send me the link and we'll get that out there for you. We'll put it up on our You're the Poet pages and things and help you publicize the website.
And when you publish your book, let us know about that too.
Yeah, I coining my last name since it's Harsh, and I came up with that little coin of words back in the early 90s or late 80s. I was like, oh, I'll just call it Harsh Words since last name is Harsh. It kind of just came to me one day, and I ran with it.
Yeah, I really like that. I didn't realize that was your last name until you had emailed me. And I saw that, Jodi Harsh was actually your name. And I was like, oh man, that is clever. The harsh words. I was like, that's perfect.
Yeah.
Hey, you got another one for us?
Okay. The last one is called Remorseful Rage. Boiling blind rage reaches the surface with no harness to hold it back. The world swirls around me in a blur. Nothing is clear. All of it is meshed together. A trance takes over. I'm hovering outside my body, watching ever so calmly, as violence breaks out against every barrier, against those who done me wrong. As now I am not the passive victim, but the aggressor ready to do harm. It's a release deep from within that was caged up, chained up, a lost soul that has been beat down, locked up, stomped on, tore down, thrown away, and left to die. Vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but I can't wait. My patience has come to an end. As I sit and watch the bloodbath that ensues, I let out a long waited sigh. Silent screams are seen coming from the ungodly demonic souls being tortured. The souls who tortured me while living, trying to believe in the goodness of people. Hatred poured forth from me that I never knew could have existed within. The carnage that lies around, bodies crumpled, now nothing, only a few left, so feeble. Should I feel remorse and be sorry for my rage against the foregone evil? I float back down to regain my sense, regain my strength, and become one. It's all a dream. I wake up in a steam hotness, sheet soaked and drenched sweat. It was all a dream, so vivid, so real. It's over now. It's a weight I bear. It feels like a ton. By Jodi Harsh.
All right. Thank you for sharing.
That's a deep dream.
A lot of good imagery there. And it's interesting. I like the come around of like, that building up of that rage and then that kind of coming out as a dream.
I actually had this dream too.
Okay.
I wrote it down and I was like, wow, this is crazy. So I just had to put it on paper. Yeah, so it was wild because I'm normally not like that. I'm pretty laid back and easy going. Yeah,
With no filter.
with no filter.
Now, can I ask, in the dream, did you know what made you angry, or was it just waking up in the sense of having this sense of anger? Like, did you know what you were angry about?
I have no idea. It was just a dream that I had. I don't know what triggered it, but something did. But it was very vivid, and I was like, wow, something made me mad.
Yeah. I love that line, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord, but I can't wait. My patience has come to an end.
Yeah,
I thought that was a great line.
thank you.
Good poem. Very harsh poem.
That one was a very harsh poem. Good one, Phil.
Uh,
All right. Well, is there anything you'd like to share with us before we move on?
No, I've just had a love of poetry since I was a teenager, and I've always written poems. I can see how I've evolved since I was a teenager, and the poems that I had written back in the 80s and 90s, and how I think I've gotten better and more in depth, deeper. It's amazing. I'm glad that I have found other people who enjoy the love of poetry, and I'm learning more of the backgrounds of people and how their love of poetry has touched their lives too. And I think it's neat.
Yeah, the internet has definitely given us as poets not only a wide variety of resources to research poetry and to learn better techniques for writing poetry, but Phil and I both love the community. Like when we started this podcast, the end of March will be a year, and just the amount of people and the kind of networking we have done has
where
been
the people have from.
yeah, and it's just kind of been amazing. So how many poets are out there all over the world, and it's just really cool to hear all their different voices.
Yes.
All right, and before we move on, we had a guest listener today. So I'm going to throw Barb on the spot here and ask Barb if she had any comments or feedback about the episode.
I always have comments. Yes, I do. First of all, I love your poem. Quit laughing at me, Jodi. You know.
Her nickname is Bubbles.
Oh, yes, it is. That's my nickname. The people that love me most know me as Bubbles. And you even wrote me a poem, which was wonderful. But back to the comments I have, the bird poem. I live out in the country and I loved your bird poem. I mean, I watch birds by my kitchen window every single day.
Well, thank you.
On the opera poem, I've only attended one opera in my life. I had an employee that was in New York that sang at the opera, and he came to St. Louis and he gave me a ticket to come see him. And the best way I can describe watching the opera, it ignited every cell in my body.
That's the truth. Yeah.
Beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. Your poem took me back to that night.
Do you remember what opera it was?
I don't. The gentleman's name was Nicholas Simpson. Not, somebody that people would probably know, but his voice was beautiful.
All right. Thanks for your comments and for listening in and for supporting Jodi as she goes on her poetic adventures.
Absolutely.
She's been very supportive and has come to my open mic, my first open mic, and she's been one who's encouraged me to pursue my poetry dreams.
That's awesome.
Good luck with your book and your other endeavors.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely stay in touch. We always try to do some different things. Like I know I mentioned our 1 year anniversary is coming up, and we'll probably try to get everybody back to do a sort of like a poet's choice, poem of your choice to kind of put it all together like a compilation for our 1 year anniversary special. So I'll be letting you know about that.
That'd be cool. I wanted to do like a light poem, so I picked the filter I have, but I have another one that's called Gravity Is Not My Friend.
Do you want to share it?
Yeah, it's funny.
Yeah, let's see if we can get it in there.
Gravity is not my friend. Oh, gravity, why must you betray? Every step I take, you get in my way. I weevil, I wobble, I teeter, I tumble, I fall. It's like you got a vendetta to make me crawl. They call me Falls a lot. It's my Indian name. A title earned in this slapstick game. From hammer toes to fall askew, staying upright is a thing I just can't do. My brother, the Joker, always takes a shot. Watch the parking stop, he yells on the dot. He knows my grace is an urban myth. I swear he's waiting for the moment I trip. Then there's that tree, what a sordid tale. I stumbled too close and it tried to impale. Its branches grabbed me and I yell, set me free. I'm pretty sure that tree was hitting on me. Oh, and that time with Bubbles on the line, gathering firewood, trying to look fine. Down I went, but here's the twist. My drink stayed steady, not a drop missed. And at my sister's, oh, what a scene. A staircase betrayal, my toes turned green. I lay there in pain, waiting for aid, but everyone was hung over and not one moved leg. Let's not forget my airplane crash, arms out wide, a dramatic splash. Down I spiraled in pure dismay. Gravity cheered while I hit the runway. Oh, that door that broke my wrist. I fell through it and gravity insists. But I laugh at the pain, I chuckle with tears, because my clutchiness has brought me years of comedy gold for friends and kin. They all crack up at the state I'm in. Unbalanced floors, that's my foe. I'll fight the tilt and stub my toe. So here I stand, or maybe I sway, laughing at gravity, come what may. I fall down, but I rise with flair. I clutch with humor, no fall can compare. By Jodi Harsh.
I can totally relate to that, Jodi. Totally.
Oh,
I just got one of those buttons that you push, I fall and I can't get up buttons.
I have one of
Yep.
those.
I just put mine on the charger. Matt says, aren't you supposed to be wearing that? I says, yeah, I'm charging it.
Yeah, mine's on the charger too. Bubbles was in that one too because she was actually on the phone with me and I was gathering firewood, but I had a drink in my hand and she heard me fall and she's like, "What are you doing?" I'm like, "Oh, I fell."
Okay, so that's impressive. Gathering firewood with a drink in your hand. And you fell and you didn't spill the drink. That's awesome.
Yeah.
She said, "Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, but I didn't spill my drink, so I'm good." She's like, "Oh my God." And I fell into the door and it broke my wrist.
Oh.
Oh, geez.
Then it healed wrong, so I had to have it broken, reset, and now I got a plate in my wrist. Yeah, gravity is not my friend.
Oh, wow.
Gravity's out to get us, Jody.
It is. I'm telling you, Phil.
She actually even saved her phone and didn't even lose the phone while she was on tumbling down the back of her yard. I wish there was video. I'm like, hey, does a neighbor have like maybe video of all this? It'd be something that I would love to see.
There you
What
go.
was your most epic fall?
My most epic fall, probably when the mower dragged me down the hill.
Oh,
Yeah.
I think on the phone with you then too.
Barb is your guardian angel there. She's keeping an eye on you.
Had quite a few epic falls.
I think mine was a slow motion fall leaving work. At the time, I was a police sergeant. I was going home for the evening shift, and I walked past the guys on the night shift in the car, and I start falling on the ice really slow. I mean, it's like one of them slow. So when I stood back up and looked at them, they're holding up signs like 9.5, 10, like it's some kind of competition.
Well, when I sent this to my brother and sister, they both just cracked up laughing. Both of them were like, "That's really good, Joe, because it's you, 100%."
Yeah, your autobiography poem, right?
Yes. And I think they both laughed because I included both of them in it.
Right. That's always fun, too. As we wrap things up, we want to let our listeners know we are grateful that you've taken the time to tune in. We hope you're enjoying the poetry shared here, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the podcast and share it with others. Now that the You're the Poet community is expanding at a rapid rate, we have set up a patron site for those who would like to show their support for You're the Poet. You can find us on buymeacoffee.com/You're the Poet. Thank you for your support as we continue to grow. If you've written any poetry and you want to share it here, whether you just have an interest in poetry, consider yourself an amateur poet, or are a professional poet with published works, contact us to be a guest on a future episode. Please check out the website at www.you'rethepoet.com, where you can find info about the podcast and episodes, as well as a frequently asked questions page about being a guest. Follow us on Facebook for updates and info, and send us an email to host@you'rethepoet.com for feedback or questions about the podcast and how to be our next guest. Also, we've been working to put up our podcast episodes on YouTube. They're still just audio, but you can find them there under You're the Poet Podcast. And we're also trying to have a presence on Instagram as well under You're the Poet Podcast. Until next time, Phil, thanks for joining us.
Anytime.
Jodi, thank you for being our guest.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed it.
And thank you, Barb, for listening in and offering some feedback today.
Anytime.
All right, thank you, guys. Goodbye.